Good day, my friends, and welcome. I call this the last shout of the day or something. It's 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. I am preparing for my overnight show, 1 to 5 on WABC. So this is the last time I get to you. I get revved up. I feel like the picador. I feel like the bull at the bullfight, and I'm being gouged. I'm being pushed. My friends, the question that I've presented to you is Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino. Trump's biggest mistakes, are they? So much to talk about in no particular order. By the way, from the time that I immediately bring this up to you, we see what happens to the president in his incredible address at the UN. Did you see when they stopped the escalator? Our first lady could have been hurt. That was a joke. That was a joke. And there is nothing these people will not do. There is nothing too coarse. There is nothing too dangerous. There is nothing that they will not consider. They hate him and us with a passion that no one can even put into perspective. Nobody can even, we can't even, I can't even explain this to you. I can't even put it into position because I really can't understand why that is. So much to discuss. My friends, we are so happy for a number of reasons. One of the things is that we're finding out that a lot of good people like Gavin McInnes and others are getting their social media channels reinstated. YouTube basically admitted that it reinstated folks, that perhaps there might have been some type of corollary. We knew this. People are coming forward, people who were basically deplatformed by virtue of merely mentioning COVID. We went through that. So the next time anybody gives you some nonsense about, oh, we're the greatest country in the world, that is nonsense. We have more limitations of speech, more suppression of free thought than any place on the planet. And I know you might say, well, wait a minute. The penalties may be different. But you are suppressed constantly. But not only by government, by family, by friends, by society, by convention, education, church. We're going to fix that, because we are fighting back, and it feels wonderful. It feels absolutely wonderful. So sit back. I've got so many things to go over tonight. And I hope the president, he's not perfect. This speech he's kissing up to Zelensky. What is he doing? Turning his back on Putin? Making no concession whatsoever, no change of course regarding the Middle East and Israel and Palestine? I don't know what that's about. I mean, I know what it's about, but it's inexcusable. However, when he's 98% great, we have to look the other way. And for those of you who cares at all, Yankees clinched the playoffs. that's I kind of like this as a New Yorker. I thought, okay, that's great. And that's all I'm going to say. Now, my friends, I'm going to tell you something else, which is your response to this has been incredible. And that is regarding the imminent danger that all of us recognize as having been on the horizon. Because when I mention civil war and false flags and strikes and supply chain collapses and domestic terrorism and lockdowns and freakouts and blackouts and BLM and EMP and Antifa, riots and insurrections, shall I go on? You know and I know it's not some theoretical nightmare anymore, some weird dystopian kind of crazy idea. This is real. The systems that we trusted to remain in order, to maintain order, are crumbling by design before our very eyes, on time, and as predicted and as wired. 1 week without food, and you'll learn fast and learn the hard way. Cash, cards, Bitcoin, even gold won't feed your family. You can't eat gold. Survival isn't theory, it's primal, primordial, primeval, instinctual, evolutionary, atavistic. You name it, it's hardwired. Food, water, energy, ammo, that's it. That's the name of the game. And that's why My Patriot Supply, the best company on the market today, and the 3-month food kit is incredible, and why it matters. Over 2,000 calories a day, 22 meal varieties, a shelf life of up to 25 years. And right now you get 4 weeks free, a $247 bonus. The world has changed right now. You see those jackals, those ghouls at the UN. Look, and I've got to go through this traffic every day. Hunger is the oldest weapon of intimidation and control. Don't wait for disaster to prove it. Preparation, my friend. Preparation isn't paranoia, it's survival. So click the link in the description. Preparewithlionel.com. Secure your food, protect your family, and secure your future now while there's time, because no one will force you. Reality will. Preparewithlionel.com. So much, my dear friends, to talk about. In no particular, I think we all pretty much know that the president's selection, those individuals who are involved in his administration, are bereft of the requisite skills to serve him and our country correctly. You know it, my friends, and I know it. That's the truth. Our good friend Carl Womble says, I just took my socks off in the car and I gave myself a puppet show while I drive. That was from last night. Was that not great? That was one of the fun. It was Carl, one of the best parts about doing talk radio, real talk radio, is just to have great people talk about stuff that may not be life-threatening, but it's just fun, theater of the mind, conversational, getting acquainted, talking. I'm glad you could be a part of it. 77 WABC, 1 to 5 a.m. every day, overnight. The best gig in the world. Well, second best. Now, in no particular order, let me go through this thing. I want you to do something here. In 2000, you're not going to hear anybody talk about this. In 2000, there was a report titled Replacement Migration. Is it a solution to declining and aging populations? Let me say this again. Replacement migration. They tell you what they're doing. Is it a solution to declining and aging populations? It's a document that's been debated and misquoted and memed. And let me break it down, what it says. Ostensibly, it was published by the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs in March of 2000. And it's supposedly not a policy directive, but a theoretical demographic study. And it asked the question, given low birth rates in developed countries, could immigration offset population decline and aging? Could immigration offset, declines in, population? The idea was that populations in areas like Europe and Japan and the US were shrinking or aging rapidly. So the paper modeled the scenarios where immigration flows could replace, a lot of air quotes, replace declining working age populations. For example, Japan would need millions of immigrants over decades to stabilize the workforce. So the takeaway they want is, it didn't call for migration, but it crunched numbers showing how massive inflows would be required to keep dependency ratios, workers versus retirees, steady. And what it was is, it was social engineering. It was social engineering. Replacement migration is a phrase that basically talks about a population replacement and sovereignty loss. Activists and commentators have been talking about this. It's there. They do this in front of you. The UN does this. And if your country signs off on this, you're stuck. You're it. The stories are incredible today. My God, I went through this. I'm just looking at this Trump at UNGA. Trump just excoriated global warming as a hoax, as some fraudulent, this game, calling climate change the greatest con job ever. And he warned countries to break from the UN green agenda or face collapse. I loved it. Remember, he's not perfect. Then there's the UN General Assembly clash. Trump accused the UN of orchestrated an invasion and deliberately destroying the West, telling world leaders the program must be stopped. He talked about sanctuary county armor. By the way, this was in the news. A Salvadoran illegal immigrant was charged with strangling his infant sister to death in Virginia, highlighting dangers of sanctuary policies. How many days have you seen something like this in the news? White House signals it will not arrest sanctuary city officials unless they commit crimes directly. And this is angering a lot of folks. Jimmy Kimmel's late night ratings, I don't know if it's on even now as we speak. I don't know. Do not watch a second of it. Do not watch a second of it. Do not watch a second of it. Do not give your cable box one household, one glimmer, one focus of anything. Do not watch a second of this. He is going to go bye-bye. Do you hear what I'm saying? Celebrity Family Feud destroyed him. Okay, this is anything to talk about Charlie Kirk, or not to talk about it. Trump shocked many people by supporting continued U.S. involvement in the Ukraine, a conflict that is previously criticized as endless wars. It is stupid. I don't understand the president. I don't know what the hell he's doing. I still love him, but he's wrong. Ryan Ruth, who attempted to assassinate Trump, is found guilty on all charges after reportedly trying to stab himself with a pen. He represented himself. Hey, listen, it's actually a very good move. Reports are claiming Trump deliberately interfered before his, reports claim Trump faced deliberate interference before his UN speech, but still unleashed hell. Washington faces criticism for welcoming Syria's former al-Qaeda-linked president, raising questions about U.S. foreign policy and asking yourself, does Marco Rubio know what he's doing? Unbelievable. Some folks are warning that Merck's new self-amplifying RNA vaccine for pets has had no studies on shedding to humans, raising safety concerns. Are you finding any solace in this Tylenol stuff? I don't think so. People are reporting resistance across the country to Sharia law, as you call it, as preservation of American values. I talked about this last night. One of the most important things in the world. Let me also say something to you. Some moron wrote me and said, see, now you're getting it. It's Islam. My problem is not with Islam. Freddie Haddad. By the way, Freddie gave 10 memberships. Thank you, Fred. You're a maniac. And you dance like you've never danced before. Thank you, Big Fred. I don't care about Islam. Islam has been here. It is 2 billion people in the world. Peaceable. I know many friends of mine. I'm not going to blaspheme it. Christianity, one could argue, throughout history has done more harm than anything. From Inquisitions to the Crusades to whatever. I'm not going to get into that. I'm talking about in this country. And it's not that we have Muslims in this country. They're welcome. That's what the First Amendment is, Fred and Carl. That's what it's about. What I'm talking about is something a little bit different. I'm talking about losing our sense of who we are. And look at these 2 jadruls on the front. You think they're doing anything? Does Pam Bondi know what the hell she's doing? Does she know what she's doing? I say to you, I think not, my friends. Let me explain to you something, and this is very, very important, very, very critical about why this country is so important and why globalism scares the living hell out of me. Because what it does is it loves to destroy that. It hates our country. It hates us. It hates us. Do you see what I'm saying? They hate us. A lot of times they hate us because of our foreign policy, which frankly, well, I can kind of not see it their way, but I can understand why it ticks them off because so much of it makes me upset as well. But as I've told you, and I'll say it again, my friends, I want you to listen to me very carefully. This is not against any faith. It's about America losing its soul. I'm talking about the steady erosion, the steady drip of the erosion of tradition and culture and values and identity. It's no longer subtle. It's an overt, declared, unapologetic war. And across major cities and across the world, groups openly announce that assimilation is not their goal. They reject integration into the American fabric. That's my problem. Don't confuse the two. Instead, they proclaim that their mission is to somehow transform. Listen to Ilhan Omar. To transform and to supplant, to replace over my dead body. This is America. You're not going to do this. Whether it's woke ideology, whether it's this trans-Tifa nonsense, I don't care. It's bullshit, and you're not going to ruin my country. You're not going to do it. Anybody who tries to invoke Sharia law or anything along that to supplant, to replace our system, Foreign customs, cultural dominance, that's fine. Customs are great. You will not dominate. These aren't warnings. This isn't fear-mongering. This is not speculation. It is what they themselves declare openly. Either you get this or you don't. And if America can't confront what's happening right now, if America can't do it, the nation is going to lose what generations built. I can't believe I'm saying this. I thought people who said this years ago were kind of crazy, like these right-wingers. And not anymore. Not anymore. I'm saying things right now because, remember, I didn't change my mind. The rules changed. John Maynard Keynes said that wonderful thing. I didn't change my mind. I changed. When the facts change, I changed my opinion. That's what we're talking about right here, my friends. That's what we're talking about. That's what's critical. Bigger than anything you can imagine. This isn't a joke. This isn't a joke. Everywhere you look, I couldn't believe it yesterday. There were parts of the city, it looks like, where am I? Where am I? Islamabad? What is this? Veils and eyeglasses everywhere. I'm thinking, okay. I'm certainly not going to object to anybody wearing a veil. Nuns do it, people do it, but everywhere you look, the signs are there. In neighborhoods in New York and in Detroit and Minneapolis, especially Minneapolis. Other cities, it's unbelievable. I can't believe what's happening right now. Political candidates who their rise, whose entire message is not to strengthen America like Zoran Mamdani, but to dismantle it from within. See, they claim allegiance to America, while, here's the best part, while simultaneously pledging fealty to ideologies and traditions that are openly hostile to the Constitution, to our culture, to our values, to our country. Am I making sense? Are you getting this? This isn't a joke. I'm not kidding around here. Zoran Mamdani, who's a socialist, radical, Marxist, lunatic, whatever you want to call him, in New York City. He wants to be the next mayor and will be. He campaigns as though his mission is to replace American sovereignty with imported ideologies. Ilhan Omar, who rose to national office by marrying her brother, walking around just slamming us constantly in this libel, this defamation of this great country that gave her and her family solace. She's on the platform of refugee gratitude. No. Has instead, no, they're not happy to be here. Instead, they spend their entire career lecturing you about America and its flaws while remaining silent on the corruption and destruction of her homeland's politics. These aren't isolated voices. This is part of a chorus, my friend, that sees America not as a home to be cherished, but as a host, I guess the host country to be conquered. And the warning signs are clear, imminent, limpid, pellucid, obvious. When immigrants come to this nation, and when they've come in the past, they embraced America's culture while adding richness from their heritage. They learned English. They pledged allegiance. They raised their children to become Americans first. They loved this country. Today, however, there are growing factions, groups, and divisions that preach the opposite. They refuse assimilation. They promote parallel communities, separate systems of law, not to supplement, but to replace. And replacement is the key here. They want to have little enclaves and provinces where American authority is secondary. Sharia courts, self-governing zones, demands from exemptions from basic American rules. Bullshit. All of these are steps on a path towards what you can only call disunity. And America right now, I'm telling you right now, listen to me carefully. America cannot survive if it is divided into warring factions of imported cultures in this country. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Consider what it means when candidates for high office say outright that they do not believe in assimilation. This is not multiculturalism. This is not diversity. This is colonization, an intentional dismantling of the values that define America. Okay? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, equality before the law. These values do not survive when one group insists that religious law must reign supreme over constitutional law. History shows that once these demands, these threats, once they gain traction, liberty, your liberty erodes. Do you think I'm kidding? Be honest. You do, don't you? You think I'm just saying this. You don't think I mean what I'm saying, do you? I know. Because you don't want to hear this. You want to be white-pilled. And I understand that. I dig. Women's rights, freedom of conscience, equal protection under law are often the first casualties. And what begins as accommodation ends as submission. And let me tell you something. Some of the weird sexual practices of these people regarding arranged marriages and the like, they've got a very strange way of looking at how little girls and kids are maintained. I mean, this is the weirdest thing. I don't care what anybody says, but arranged marriages? What the hell is going on with this stuff? This is going on. These are people who brought you female circumcision. Not every country, but many of them did. And they're going to come here and they're going to claim, well, listen, we have freedom of rights. Oh, no, this is mutilation. You think I'm kidding? People used to go crazy over the santerias in Florida when they would do animal sacrifice. I mean, they would go batshit over that. Okay, this is a little worse. Those are just pigeons. This is another story. Are you following this? See, I'm afraid that sometimes when I say these things, a lot of folks, not you, mind you, but when I try to tell other people, I think they say, oh, don't ruin our time here. We're having such a nice day. You're such a downer. And the media, glad you brought them up. The media ridicule anyone who raises these alarms. CNN, MSDNC, the usual suspects. And the cultural gatekeepers, they scoff, they laugh at the idea that America could ever lose its cultural core. They dismiss the evidence of cities already transformed. Oh, come on. Quit being such a bigot, a racist, some kind of nativist or nationalist. Stop that. But look around you. Look at the no-go zones in Europe. Look at the cultural clashes that are tearing apart France and Sweden and Germany. Look at Tommy Robinson. Look at the UK. They once laughed off the warnings too. And now they face riots and parallel societies and violence rooted, my friends, rooted, dear brothers and sisters of truth, rooted in the refusal to assimilate. They don't want to become Americans. They want to traverse. They want to change Americans. Our good friend John Jelaine says, America is a melting pot, not a melting cult. Touche, sir. Too freaking shay. And not only is America not a melting cult, America is not immune. And the same seeds that we see here have been planted elsewhere. So why are so many politicians so quick to ignore the threat? Because they're paid off, because they crave votes, they're afraid. They have no balls, no backbone. They're implicit. They're atesticular. They're the lowest form of life there is because they see demographic change as an opportunity to cement permanent power, a permanent party. They will let anyone in. It doesn't matter who they are. They tolerate the erosion and the destruction of American identity if it means securing their political future. Think I'm being a little up. No, you do. I mean, let's face it. You think, here this guy goes again. What is with him? These folks are willing to gamble with the nation's sovereignty and cultural survival for the sake of short-term electoral gain. Well, I'm not into it. That's not leadership. That's betrayal. America deserves leaders, my friends, who will not give in, who will defend her, not sell her out to groups who openly declare their hostility. So, my friend, the tragedy is that too many Americans, unfortunately, remain silent. Too many people believe it can't happen here. They think we're somehow immune. We're exceptional. They imagine that America's stage, or strength rather, is invincible. And they forget that Rome, too, believed it was eternal. Civilizations collapse not only from external invasion, but from internal rot and infection and putrescence. Okay? From the refusal to defend the values that made them strong. If America forgets its language, its traditions, its culture, its faith, its history, its constitution, then it ceases to be America. Okay? And I will not have that. A nation without identity is not a nation at all. It's I guess, some territory waiting for the strongest faction to claim it or something. America first means America first. It is not a slogan. It is survival. It means our Constitution above foreign laws. It means triage. It means English as the unifying language. It means faith and family as the bedrock of culture. And it means, dear friends, standing unapologetically for American values rather than apologizing to a bunch of folks who refuse to accept them. It's that simple. It means, dear friends, demanding assimilation, telling them, you can come here provided you follow our rules and you do what we say. I thank you. I thank you, our good friend John Jelaine and Freddie Haddad and Carl Womble. I thank you. I thank you for listening. I thank you for being a part of this. I thank you for caring. I thank you for standing up and being. I'm dead serious about this. I love this place. I have never felt more under attack. Internally, kind of from a subterranean, these cultural termites that basically destroy the infrastructure and the lattice work of our republic. I mean it. I have never seen anything like this. So I say to you, my friends, say it loud and say it proud. God bless America. Pray. If you pray, I don't, but if you do, pray for President Trump. He needs it. He does some stupid, boneheaded things, but the first thing he has to do, as the title of this indicates, he's got to shit can people who stand in the way of him and greatness. Because if he's great, we're great. And I'm not going to let some boneheaded podcaster wannabe F things up. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? Okay. All right, dear friends. Have a great and a glorious day. Thanks so much for being a part of this. We will see you later. Don't forget, make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation right here. 80% of the people who watch our videos aren't subscribed. 80%? It's nuts. It's crazy. I need your likes. I need your subscriptions. I need you to put our numbers out there because I want to, and if you believe in Charlie Kirk, I'm not Charlie Kirk. I'm not saying I am, but the message, we have a lot in common. And I'm here for the duration, my friend. As long as I can have breath, air in my lungs, and some mild, cohesive comprehension and cognition, I'm going to keep doing it. All right, friends, don't forget, listen to me on 77 WABC, 77 WABC. Make sure you get the app and listen. It's like nothing else. Listen overnights. And by the way, when you call up, tell people you're with the nation, and I'll get to you right away. You got priority. All right, friends, have a great and glorious night. Don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Oh, by the way, Mrs. L tonight for the first hour, my special guest. So listen, it's going to be a barn burner. Warrior Wednesday. All right, my friends, have a great day. And, oh, yeah, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dad.